We are into picks and bans as TSM going to remove Zach, unsurprisingly, on the red side. Envy do not want to deal with a Bjergsen snowballing LeBlanc.
Yeah, not many people do. However, then you're faced with a Bjergsen snowballing Syndra, or a Bjergsen snowballing Cassiopeia, or a Bjergsen snowballing Orianna. And
turns out when you're Bjergsen, there's not a lot you can do against him.
Definitely rough.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see though, because I actually did quite like Nisqy's Taliyah. You know, had a couple of very good walls in the last game. You know, they got some good pickoffs, and it was definitely a solid mid laner for them. So I don't think that was, you know, the biggest issue for Team Envy previously.
Yeah, I agree on that one. We'll see what else they can do, though, on this one is TSM continuing the red side tradition of banning away Caitlyn, which I actually do think right now is slightly overrated, but that said, these teams all believe that Caitlyn is still insane in 7-14 and beyond, so we'll see what comes in afterwards. No Bjergsen Cassiopeia allowed, interestingly enough, even though that was not contested in the previous game, I do believe, but...
No, it was not even close.
TSM think that Cassio's good into what they're trying to play here in this champ select.
Yeah, Envy possibly do, but it definitely is a curious one right after the Syndra game, right? And it doesn't feel like there's going to be a first pick mid laner with Maokai up, with Kalista up, with Elise up, so we'll see. Maybe this one comes back and it's a a part 2 here.
Yeah.
The long con being set up early.
Maybe so. I think it would be a round 2 blue side pick if Envy want to make sure they can grab a mid laner in time. And again, it looks like what they intend to pick would be counted by Cassio. I believe Orianna could be one of those, but of course the Syndra is up, and that's almost, arguably worse. So we'll see what TSM want to do, or if they're just trying to throw TSM for a loop and make them pick something they don't want to, because that Cassiopeia ban's weird. I don't know just yet. But either way, LirA certainly on a valuable and strong early game champion. TSM is going to quickly grab their Gragas and maybe the Jarvan alongside. They had hovered Jarvan last time and went for Syndra instead, so remains to be seen. That's unusual and unlikely. And okay, they're going to go for some more safety in the back line. TSM not going to go for the Tristana, who had actually kind of won them the game before. It's instead the Varus, and that Xayah is certainly another one who can certainly scale very nicely. I prefer Sivir, but yeah, I mean, Xayah is certainly another one that Apollo's played a lot of this split. Has area effect damage as, basic part of the kit, scales off crit, and certainly can scale into the game. Lucian would be that one. There we go. That was the... Let's deal with the Orianna counterpick. Lucian, I think, was...
We're going early game, boys.
We are going early game.
Full throttle here. Team Envy want to press this one. Steam definitely locking up here. Let's see. Team Envy, this is about as early game as you can draft. Renekton, Elise, possible dives there. Lucian trying to play off the bottom lane super early. And they should definitely continue along with this vein. I mean, if you're going to try and take advantage of the early game, right, this is the way that you're going to do it. You just go all in on it and see if they can snowball hard. TSM now very aware of what they'll be facing. They'll probably open up with a more defensive game, just kind of like game number 1 as well, and look to stall them out a little bit.
So Syndra, once again, for Bjergsen is going to be the best pick he can think about for dealing with his Lucian and the hopeful snowball out of Team Envy. Ban phase 2 continues, and TSM knows that Envy need a bot lane, and Envy knows that TSM need a top laner support.
I am curious to see if TSM even throw another ban at mid lane, because still, this Cassiopeia ban from blue side from Envy has those question marks, because they didn't go for a second round pickup of a mid laner, and it felt like they were forcing them into, hey, go ahead, pick Syndra again, but like what is the counter pick here from Nisqy, right? Like, is he going to actually go with an assassin? Are you going to
flex the Lucian?
They have early game in all, jungle and both other sides. If they also go like an assassin or some sort of early game mid.
Yeah, if they flex Lucian to bot lane and they actually go for something else to beat Syndra mid, I actually just assumed outright it was going to be Lucian in the mid lane outright.
That's true.
Yeah, maybe it is going to go into the bot lane instead. I just assumed he completely roll swap at this point. It's clearly a flux pick, so.
It's actually so weird, too, that the default for Lucian now is mid rather than the default being bottom lane, but yeah, you're definitely right.
I mean, it's completely viable. Like, it is absolutely a flex pick right here. So we'll see what it comes down to. Rek'Sai going to be grabbed up, so it's going to be Gragas top lane as it comes out. And I mean, certainly Syndra Rek'Sai can blast almost any mid lane matchup. But Envy actually going to add some insurance policy by going for a Kog'Maw. Now, there's a world it's AP Kog mid. I think it's unlikely. I think it's Kog Braum bot lane. So they have some decent frontline with Renekton Braum. I think there's actually a pretty good mix here in the lineup of damage types, of early game, and still a little bit of insurance with Apollo's Kog. I actually like what Envy put together.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those early game oriented compositions that don't have that huge cliff, right? And Kog'Maw kind of eases it in for you. We'll see about this mid lane jungler synergy, because that could definitely be a breaking point. Almost everybody's always expecting Elise to go top with the Renekton, who's pushing in, go for the dive, level 3, use the repel to reset aggro. And it's kind of going to be a guessing game here. Svenskeren is on the Rek'Sai and will have a bit longer range of trying to detect LirA's movements and maybe get there a little bit early to try and see if he's diving top or mid. But if you guess wrong, then it definitely can be a solo lane snowballing game.
All right, we'll see if the snowball happens right here. TSM going to grab Karma as their support pick. They had the option of playing the same Lulu as last game, but instead going for more team-wide buffing, of course. There's no hyper carries for Stunner like the last game, so could certainly determine why he went for this champion. But it is interesting to see some of these teams kind of hop back off of the always tanks, always playmakers every game. And it's not even because of coin. We had seen Spell Thieves, for example, from Biofrost last game. So I always like that teams are still going to bring back some of the old style, that they're still willing to, to think about all the options in here. And TSM certainly looking at a very wide variety of champions. Definitely is a different look here in this game, especially with that Gragas top lane out of Hauntzer. So here we go into game 2. Team EnVy relying very heavily on early game snowballing. LirA got his first pick, Elise, defending MVP. Certainly an incredibly good jungler. And if he can set this game off right, EnVy can certainly snowball to a win. But there is somewhat of a timer even with that Kog'Maw in the lineup. TSM, though, hoping they can make it work with this Varus and Karma adding to the lineup. Bjergsen Syndra, of course, was player of the game last time around. And we'll see if TSM can keep pace with Immortals in first place with a win here. We'll see what they can do as we go ourselves into game 2.
All right, let's take a look at the opening as well, because Braum and Kog'Maw can definitely give a very nice pull to LirA and jumpstart this Elise to go up and help the solo lanes. It's definitely a team coordinated effort to try and snowball top half of the map, whether it's bot lane giving the extra leash or any extra ground that they have to sacrifice for that. So far though, just fan out, look for the possible Raptor invades.
The spider eye.
Right now, nothing too crazy going on. Pretty standard battle lines. We'll see if any wards do come in. I'm checking solo queue stats on if Spell Thieves is actually better or not on some of these supports, because I'm very curious. I'm waiting to see what's going to come through. As, of course, no surprise to see Bjergsen going cleanse. There's an Elise lane. It's scary. You kind of want to run that.
Definitely true, considering that's like the only crowd control that does kill you in that 2 versus 2. Lucian can definitely jump on you and close the gap, but as long as you cleanse the cocoon, should be able to walk away from the rest.
Yeah. So I looked up some solo queue stats. As far as Karma's concerned, she's about a 0.5% win rate higher by going coin. Now, you could argue solo queue and pro are different. Certainly, pushing your laning phase even better is potentially even more important in the pro play. But
I just think that, so here's the thing for me with Karma, right? You want to build your Ardent Sensor as soon as possible.
Yeah.
The coin gives you a bunch of gold.
Yeah.
There you go. That's the only logic that I need. Give me gold now. Build Ardent Sensor. Good.
I mean, and I would go for the build myself. In fact, I looked at the Lulu's as well, and Lulu is a 3% win rate difference across the two. Karma's actually much
the same thing. Ardent Sensor, good. Give me money. I want to build it.
I mean, I agree with you, right? I agree with you on the logic. And again, I point out that we've seen several Terex and Alistairs go for coin first, even over Relic Shield, despite being actual tanks. You see this mid lane fight real quick as Nisqy pulls aggro, but still gets better damage than Bjergsen does. Thanks the Q, trades it back.
All right, we don't have any like super powerful, extended leash either. So both junglers, fairly standard clears. Rek'Sai is doing just the top side, full red quadrant clear for Svenskeren. So there's a possibility that he tries to affect the Renekton lane. But as we said before, oftentimes the Rek'Sai will hover to that lane. He's expecting pressure early from the dive. Renekton Elise is such a common combo that Sven could just try and hang around. As long as he's, half a screen away, you burrow, you get a little bit of indicator, see if anyone's moving around, and just trying to, keep Hauntzer a little bit safe.
Absolutely, we'll see if they can do that here in this one as Hauntzer and Seraph are battling back and forth. LirA getting that scuttle. And right now, Svenskeren on the other side of the map, but no early dive to be had, despite the fact that there really aren't wards that would have spotted a potential Elise gank. You can see Hauntzer cheating down, just now Trinket wards that tri-brush, but I think LirA could have been in that brush by the time he did it.
Yeah,
Either
so
way, he's fine.
The thing you judge there is how far away is Renekton as well, and his movements. Is there a minion for him to slice and dice forward to catch you? While you're placing this ward, yes, you're in cocoon range, but how close can the Renekton actually collapse? And is that damage threat there? Hauntzer judges no, gets the ward down.
Yep.
And now he'll be safe.
And nice by Sven actually able to ward, says, okay, the red's been taken, but I can take your Krugs away right now. And LirA gonna be late to the party, so Sven getting to take away some of the camps. LirA's 4 right now, and actually spotted by this ward means Sven can tunnel in 5 seconds. He had tunneled over the Drake pit, used the blast code to join this. Either way, he is going to be fine, and I believe the tunnel's ready to walk back out. Yes, he does have it, and still got most of the gold out of the camp, so I still think it was a successful counter jungle for Sven as long as he can grab his camps here.
Yeah, quite easy to go back and clear zone now. The only bottom side would be the extra wards they've left here around bottom lane. Even if you see the Elise come through, you have to respect, and they would have to maybe lose a couple of minions by backing off. Not going to be the case, though. LirA doesn't even go assert any sort of presence down there on the bottom side. So everybody farming A-okay.
And interestingly, LirA actually going for double amplifying tome here. It's 870 gold versus, it's a 30 gold difference from Moby's. He probably could have afforded Moby's if he wanted to, but instead going for a higher damage build right now. Nice little dodge by Nisqy staying away, but Bjergsen, generally speaking, winning that laning phase, up 3 CS as well, up the potion.
With base move speed in spider form, LirA should be able to get up into the side brush on top lane for the possible counter gank here for top side, or even setting up some sort of dive with the Renekton on there. So I kind of like it, right? You've got extra power if you do see Svenskeren somewhere else and you go for the dive to get the execute, but we'll see if they actually pull it off. Right now, he's lying in the brush, by the way. You can see on the mini-map, Elise is up there waiting with those double amp tomes. Was able to get there just in time, even without the Moby boots.
Hauntzer healthy, but really not a lot of mana. He's going to recall here. LirA to do the same. Want to point out, Bjergsen was donated blue buff pretty quickly by Sven. So he's got a lot of lane pressure here. He's forced Nisqy off to a pretty unfortunate recall. 9 CS lead for Bjergsen. Going to recall pretty safely here. It's going to feel really nice for the TSM pin.
Hauntzer was playing super defensively before. Now he's out.
Stun's going to land. Cocoon, oh, not quite going to hit in time. A flash just barely by Hauntzer keeps him safe.
Yeah, little bit of a misjudgment there. Trying to get the huge damage in first. And Hauntzer is able to flash it. Does not get the interrupt onto Seraph, though.
Believe he saw him. And he's going to push one more wave. Of course, he knows the wave's about to crash. And he's actually just going to wait. He's not going to shove, actually. He'd already, of course, TP'd back in. So going to let the wave bounce in general. Seraph now rejoins the fray.
He does have to be a little bit cautious because LirA could still be camping up there. Svenskeren's going for mid lane power instead. Bjergsen's been landing decent skill shots onto Nisqy in this matchup. And he actually has a small CS lead for himself as well. You can see the respect that Nisqy is giving to Bjergsen's Syndra here as far as the gank setup.
And Bjergsen's now level 6.
There's a ward on you now, bud.
Yep. And I don't know if he ever saw it come down because he was burrowed the entire time, so he might not know that everything's been known.
I mean, he saw people walk close to him, but yeah.
True. But yeah, the ward animation wouldn't have been playing, so unsure if he's ever aware, but he's going to back out now. Nice ulti by Hauntzer, pulls in Seraph, and chunks about 600 health off of him. Trade back, and Seraph's going to stay alive, but nice ulti out of Hauntzer to make that happen.
Yeah, good little trade there for him. It definitely takes a bit of the threat away. Renekton holding onto the ultimate always still, has that, but anytime you can get a chunk of like 4,500 health.
Somebody who'll use just the health bar. Just for move speed a little bit, I guess, but Sven not actually going to pull the trigger on the gank.
Are they going to collapse onto Bjergsen here?
Well, he's got a teammate, so maybe not. Nisqy forced to run away, goes for the culling. A little bit of poke onto this. A couple 100 health bars down, but yeah, not going to mean that much here. And TSM just sitting on a 400 gold lead. Able to walk right back out. Seraph is the only one really winning right now in his matchup. He's up 10 CS, going to find another battle. Goes for the ulti. He wants to battle Hauntzer, who is flashless, keep in mind. He used it against the prior gank, so Seraph can keep the chase going. He's got an empowered stun ready in 4 seconds.
He's got no friend to run to here for Hauntzer, though. Bjergsen
no blast code.
Down from that invade.
Flash stun's going to come in. Can he get away from the body slam? They're trying to block this one. Hauntzer trying to get himself away from it. And he's going to get over that wall. Yeah, Seraph's flash maybe not quite worth it. Hauntzer making the patient play, getting over.
Yeah, that was a bit scary for Hauntzer since Bjergsen was down by the dragon from that bottom lane, little invade that they did through the jungle, and Nisqy was heading up. But Hauntzer able to juke back and forth, gets his clear shot at the wall to get right over it.
Yeah. So well done to get away from this one. And again, it's Seraph burning flash ult and not getting a lot for it. He got damage. He made Hauntzer recall. Seraph going to do the same though, and was able to shove away for the turret. He does deny farm at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's the big thing there. Always about a few extra minions in this matchup. Renekton should be getting his lead there. It's a bit bigger than usual because, the extra Elise possibilities are always, heavily respected and you want to give up a few more CS rather than giving up a kill.
Well, if he's going to land, though, phase nippy number for Apollo right now. Going to kite back, staying alive, though. But watch out for DoubleLift. LirA does have flash. Doesn't want to go for Cocoon Flash, though. And just going to be the walk back for TSM, multi-burn by DoubleLift.
Yeah, I think that was good communication from EnVy, from Nisqy to LirA, talking about, hey, I cannot chase this Bjergsen guy. He's definitely a very frustrating Syndra to play against. So, you know, with Bjergsen roaming and threatening that roam down to the bottom side, trading flashes there from LirA would be very risky. Don't want to get stuck around and eat a Syndra ultimate.
No risky Nisqy this game. He's going to stay safe as LirA grabs Scuttle and keeps the bot lane a bit safer as well. Less gank options for Sven, although he still can get over the walls. So Nisqy is going to go in. Here's going to be a couple of cooldowns. Nice stun's going to land. Those could be the ulti. Does it have enough damage? Not quite. Okay, not even close. 400 gold difference, 400 health. He's got a Hexbreaker up too.
You're an AD carry, I can tell. Your immediate reaction as soon as a Syndra ultimate is used. You're like, oh god, no, please.
To be fair, Nisqy's 2 levels higher and a Hexbreaker higher than what I would have normally, so it's a very big difference.
Yeah,
I'm
just saying, I can see where your reaction came from.
The panic was in.
Not gonna flame you.
If Aurelia's on my screen, I'm already just like Alt F4ing. It's like, yeah, all right, gray screen. We're going away from this one.
Nisqy, though, as you said, mid lane Lucian here. A lot more confident.
Oh, he gets flash Rek'Sai. No, he's not going to live. He is. Oh, he's not. The ulti's in. Chop down he goes. First blood for Sven. Nice Cocoon to buy some time. And LirA, they're going to make him pay for it. The kill comes through, and actually it's more gold to EnVy, I do believe, because there was an assist out of that one.
Pretty sure they got the assist on that.
For some reason, I didn't think Bjergsen got an assist. He hit a Hexbreaker.
Oh, he doesn't. Wow.
So he did no real damage.
That's actually pretty hilarious. No little bonus 50% there for TSM.
Scumbag Syndra.
That's the whole reason you buy yourself a Hexbreaker.
There you go. 200 gold denied to Bjergsen. Worth it every day of the week.
All right. Honestly, though, a little bit risky here for Team EnVy. They're fighting the Vision War pretty decently, though. It's just that this entire red quadrant was.
Yeah, he flashed it all. He actually just dodged everything. The Hexbreaker was popped by, I think it was the Rek'Sai Q or something. Or
the Rek'Sai Q is physical now.
Cinderhulk. Cinderhulk popped it. That's what it was.
Okay.
That was the magic damage, because you're right, it is physical now. But he flashed everything that Bjergsen did, so it wasn't even Hexdrinker. It was sick outplays out of the marksman player Nisqy. I'm just hating on Syndra, sorry. We're going to move on, and we have a 400 gold lead for TSM, honestly, doing insanely well in the bot lane. Almost now it is a 30 CS lead. DoubleLift is crushing this game right now.
Yeah, they've got the Karma, the double range matchup here, help from the support. Biofrost also doing a lot of harassment. They're getting them low a little bit, but LirA is in the area for another possible counter gank. Yeah. Given away by the Rek'Sai Sonar.
Yeah. Nice little stuff right there. Biofrost, as you mentioned, all the harassment. I mean, that is why he went Spell Thief, right? Is the extra damage out of the landing phase. Certainly has had a lot of Qs overall. And look, if it pays for the fact that you've forced him in a recall, you know, that can be more total gold for your team by the 9 CS. And that's just the choice you went for, of course, was the lane dominant. So far, it is paying off. We'll see if it continues for TSM here. Because right now, Bjergsen might look for round 2. Hexdrinker is back from cooldown, though, and Nisqy has himself some lifesteal, so it's going to be hard to kill him. Apollo wants in, but there's no ward on the brush, so we can't hit Biofrost here. He's going to wait to scale up with the Blade of the Ruin King. No stun on Nisqy just yet.
A lot of that jungle 2v2 as DoubleLift goes for the long-range Varus ultimate that does not find a mark. A lot of that 2v2 is interesting as well about who's going to be able to dodge skill shots there. You know, will the repel actually be used quickly there from LirA, or are they actually going to get, you know, Cocoon out of Fog of War? So TSM, yeah, they are trying to, you know, fight that, and they do have a powerful, if Svenskeren can get a knockup, you know, into a Syndra stun and the ultimate, then that's basically killing someone. But it definitely is outplayable, especially since Sven now no flash after the last dive. So that's why EnVy do actually a decent job of fighting them off that vision to try and keep some wards in the jungle. Yeah, EnVy have cleaned out their red quadrant. That's where Svenskeren came from last time. Trying to do that defensive work first.
We'll see if they can find the next little bit right there, as Seraph is continuing to battle back and forth. Plus 27 CS right now against Hauntzer as he shoves the wave in, and Black Cleaver now done off the recall. This is the power spike, really, the first major one for Renekton. We'll see if Seraph can use that to any great effect, or if we're going to keep waiting around on this one. EnVy certainly, as we mentioned in Champ Select, a much more early game focused composition. We'll see
Pings
what's
down
inside of it.
here, and the Bjergsen roam, but the Scuttle Crab was picked up by LirA, so that should dissuade him from trying to go bottom lane.
Biofrost heading back and forth, looking for more poke to be had. A little bit of damage on Hakuho, but LirA's
Oh,
back.
got
Like
in.
he's going to be in, Kog'Maw's going to land as well. A lot of damage. The burst is there. Biofrost never stood a chance. Phreak took into a Braum, and LirA was there.
What timing there. LirA walks right in. Hakuho setting him up with a knockup for the easy cocoon and execute. That's 2 kills to the Envy jungler now. Elise getting very scary. We'll see if he can affect the rest of the map. We were thinking he was going to try and snowball some of these solo lanes. You know, was kind of the case just by the threat of being Elise and the Renekton matchup, you know, winning the Gragas. But just look at that. There is, you know, once LirA slips in and Hakuho sets him up, perfect timing on that setup. As soon as Bao got vision of LirA and he tried to turn around, instant ultimate from Hakuho to set up the cocoon.
But it only puts the game at tied right now, despite the fact that you've got this kill in the bot lane. LirA's 2-0, Seraph's up, 23 minions. The rest of that game, the rest of the team really is bleeding gold against their opponents. Bjergsen and DoubleLift winning their lanes pretty substantially in farm. And again, that's not always the best thing for an early game focused draft from Envy here. TSM probably still do have the late game power ever so slightly. Seraph again in a trade right here. Hauntzer has ulti. He's got to respect the knockback into the turret. Seraph takes a little bit more barrel damage and looks for another Q, but yeah. Hauntzer doing a pretty good job staying afloat, as he's also going towards that Reich's Glory rush, as we expected more of these top lane take. Quick blue buff grab, Cocoon to buy some time, and Nisqy knocks that one down. He walks back to the lane, close enough to Ruin King. Apollo not going to be found out. A nice shield comes up for Hakuho to buy some time, as Sven still wants the damage, but at some point Apollo gets too low to survive this. Another knockup's going to come in, that's going to be the kill picked off. Nicely done, Svenskeren getting the kill credit on this. A flash away, Seraph does not want to be part of this fight anymore. And it's a 5v4 overall on the map. TSM looking to kite back here.
Yeah, Bjergsen is able to cleanse out of that one and take down Apollo for the kill onto the AD carry. Use both summoners to do it, so Envy should be able to take down these timers, and maybe we'll see them actually try and pressure Bjergsen. A summoner-less Syndra is a possible target. You can mention, you know, the early game, and it's definitely a possibility with, you know, how LirA's got those 2 kills for himself.
Nice sidestep. DoubleLift not going to be tagged, and there's no kill in the bot lane here, so we're going to walk back and just take farm out of the turret here with LirA joining Hakuho. Watch the fight again.
Yeah, we're going to get the root from Biofrost to start it out. Sven unburrowed previously to get over the wall, I think, so that's why he wasn't able to layer it on there. But as I said, Bjergsen, he flashes, cleanses through, you know, onto the extra speed, and he's able to get the ultimate off, which gave the damage enough for Svenskeren to get his last hit and take the kill credits for Rek'Sai.
Yeah, Hakuho with an unfortunate instinct to put the shield up against Karma after all the skill shots have been thrown out, so it didn't block very much and didn't have it available for the Bjergsen Syndra, which was unlucky but might not have mattered at the end of the day. Now at the Mountain Drake, who doesn't have left, it looks like no great chance of a steal, but Hakuho's joining, lands the Q. Here comes Nisqy, smites up for Sven. Gonna go for the burst, he's gonna pick it up here. LirA does not make that one happen, and here comes the ulti to buy a few more seconds, but after the flash comes out, the shot comes in, Nisqy grabs the kill. LirA flash, didn't need to, but he wanted to help secure the kill. Mountain Drake for a kill, though, still worth it for TSM.
It's worth it right now, but let's see. Envy have control of the map with the extra man advantage. Can they actually pressure much? Bjergsen low on mana as well. If he completes this recall, they might be able to get a lot of damage on it. He cancels the recall, though, wants to try and clear out some more minions.
And there's free time for Apollo in the bot lane, though no one is contesting, so he's getting free farm on the wave and potential damage to the turret. It's roughly the first time he's seen the TSM turret all game, but it is still some damage coming through. Nisqy getting the turret a little bit lower, and Envy looks like they are winning in some turret pressure as a result of the end of this play. It's just turret chips off as a payment for that Mountain Drake. We'll see if it pays off farther in the future.
Yeah, both teleports on cooldown as well for quite a while. So if there is action at either of those other turrets, it might just be TSM fending for themselves. I think LirA definitely going to want to stay in the bottom half of the map here. Maybe take advantage of it. First turret bonus gold is up for grabs still, even though we're a bit later into the game than we usually see it going down. Definitely could be a point of possible fight here, as Bjergsen's turret only needs a couple more shots on it.
Yeah, doesn't need a lot more effort, so Envy could be having that one happen pretty soon. Hex Drinker, and now the completed Blade of the Ruin King done for Nisqy. He had ulted the previous wave, so it'll be up in a little bit right now as he waits for the next window to do something special. Bjergsen clears and runs back to his side of the map. It's a blue buff up for the taking. Gonna go for it here, helped by Sven.
All right, that might leave the mid turret open. Is Nisqy gonna walk up? no minions, so gotta be careful.
And you can see Bjergsen taking the safe way through.
Oh, he's walking up now!
Be careful, yeah. The minions weren't there just yet, so there's really no chance to deal meaningful damage. I think he got maybe one auto through a backthrow bonus, so it's a third of an auto. Nice stun though. Bjergsen getting more poke down. You can see the pain that can deal. Yes, Nisqy can lifesteal back up, and here comes the attempt. Bjergsen wants to let him out, puts the spheres in.
One of my favorite things is using those low health turrets as bait. TSM could try and set something up here with Svenskeren to take advantage. That's why you always have to be a bit cautious.
Uh-oh, speaking of bait, LirA using the brush as that. 9.6 again, Bjergsen doesn't go for the forward repel. I actually kind of like that choice to just make the cleanse go out and now look for round 2 at the mid lane turret, and that could be enough to force Bjergsen away and knock this one down. This would be first turret of the game.
Most definitely. Bjergsen does not have any potions, so he's going to have to go back. There's too much kill pressure. EnVy do collect on the bonus gold, and most importantly, it opens up the TSM jungle. LirA moves in, gets some wards down, possible bottom lane pressure coming very soon as Bjergsen is walking back from base. And the EnVy bottom lane's also pushing in.
Yeah, they forced the TSM duo to run away. They kind of knew there was some threat of Nisqy and LirA diving, but now they see them walk back towards the lane. They're actually feeling safe once again under the turret. So no dive to be had, but EnVy at least putting themselves back up 1,800 gold. Top laners remain pretty equal. It's stayed at this sort of 25 mark for a while, so no major losses to Hauntzer, who's actually gone Frozen Heart first item. So attack speed slow for the 3 auto attackers on EnVy.
Also just a great item versus Renekton while
Sure,
he's
yeah.
laning up here. He has plenty of health from the rings and Ruby Crystal. Been able to keep his CS deficit fairly stable, you know, after the early game where a lot of it was due to Elise pressure, Seraph going with that flash and ultimate play, but sustaining just nicely, and that's all you need for your tank as you transition
unlucky
to the mid game.
Huh, got it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was a spiraling or what, but it did go down. Meanwhile, TSM, great pressure the bot lane. After they had burned ultis, they forced Apollo to flash away and knock down the bot lane outer turret. At least they've traded the turret score overall. Mountain Drake helping, I guess, a little bit. Game within only 1,000 as Biofrost completes his quest of tribute.
Ah, you get that extra nice speed. Feels pretty good, actually.
It does. It actually compensates for losing Mobies by dealing damage, so that's nice for that second or so. And now he's on the way to Hauntzer Sensor.
That's the real goal.
Yep, that's the real quest.
Most supports currently. All right, are they actually going to pull the trigger here? Because there's not a lot of vision set up for either team. These are the times really where those big swings are possible. There's so much fog of war to work with, so much guesswork actually at this point, that it's very possible if you're the first one out on the field to claim vision around Baron, around the river or something, pull off one of those big upset plays. TSM moving in to clear out some of that vision in the river, though.
Yeah, they seem to be first to the play at this point here, looking to get rid of all these control wards and all the basic ones as well. It looks like they have Baron Pit for now. It's going to be dangerous for EnVy to walk through there as the team hopes to continue scaling. Hurricane eventually will be done for Apollo, but not just yet. Mid lane under fire. Look at the damage output there. TSM rotated back down to the mid lane through all the fog of war and knocked down their second turret.
Sweep through the river, grab 2 control wards, take down the mid turret. Pretty rewarding trip there for TSM, honestly. Instant recalls as well. Bjergsen going back to purchase.
Seraph actually going for Ruin King's second item, wants to deal with Hauntzer a bit better. Of course, he's dealing with Bramble Vest, so the healing is cut down. And look at that, Hauntzer wins the trade. Of course, his build is pretty strong. It's a lot of armor and not a lot of health, so it makes it much easier against that kind of percent health damage. Ooh, comes in sometimes. Another attempted trade, a big stun out of Seraph, but again, hard to get really through the Bramble Vest easily. Seraph's still a bit lower on HP.
Yeah, even with, trying to shred the armor there, he gets him down to half life, though. LirA coming over to finish the rest of that life.
And here goes the attempt. Not a lot of MR on the champion. Only Spectre's Cowl stun into the turret. He's going to knock around Seraph. He could be knocking him down. He's going to flash to stay alive. He just barely will do so.
Oh!
No! A final turret shot came through. A trade and kills. Meanwhile, the top side the same. Biofrost going to be getting the trade kill back on Nisqy, who would solo it out DoubleLift otherwise.
Yeah, a couple of cross-map kills going down here. A little bit early maybe from Seraph. I don't know if Hauntzer was actually looking like he was going to run away from that one, but in the end, LirA also finishes up the turret there. On the top side, though, TSM are going to push on that outer turret as Svenskeren is still cleaning up those minions. Maybe we'll get another look at the other kill that went down on
Almost
Nisqy.
definitely. Hakuho kills away a ward, and We're sitting on this 3-2 turret score right now. Envy putting on this 2,000 gold lead. It's almost the same lead they had in the previous game, these little small margins.
Right into DoubleLift there. Turn of the tables here. It's someone face-checking a brush that DoubleLift is in. He barely gets killed.
You know what's amazing?
Last shot.
The fact that Biofrost killed him and exhaust was gone, and the last shot did full damage. Biofrost actually killed Double by doing that, and this dive, yeah, he's about 3 seconds early.
Yeah, so you really want to use the Renekton stun to set up the Elise cocoon, but the minions in the way, LirA, you know, couldn't get that clean shot off, and little bit of a late flash as well from Seraph with the extra turret shot, so
yeah,
picking that gold over definitely could have been avoided.
Yeah, I think so, I agree. So it is a trade kill. At least it was plus an assist plus a turret, so Envy still slightly win out in the trade, but yeah, could have been cleaner, and that can certainly matter later on in this game. 1,700 gold difference. We'll see what comes in next as TSM once again looking for the top side, looking for this final outer turret to take down.
A lot of ward here
contest.
in the blue quadrant of the jungle that will see Team Envy coming. Don't know if it's gonna matter though, cocoon hits!
It's gonna be a lot of damage on Sven, and the worst damage is there. Apollo crucially getting a kill credit, pushing this Kog'Maw farther into the game.
Sven caught with his hand in the cookie jar there, trying to finish off the Braum. Even with Envy blast coning over that wall, I believe. And really nice shot there from LirA to land the extra kill. Couple of snagging, extra little kills here. Just a little bit of gold going either way. Not really turning into much map control, but this game definitely something pretty quickly here. Seraph
gets away with it. Not bad. Rooking for the slow, dashing away from the chains of corruption, and he's going to be just fine. Red buff going to be secured by Apollo, so Envy actually doing a great job of keying off of LirA, who's got this 5 out of 6 kill participation, and using him to get into the map, take away some objectives, take away a couple of kills, and maybe Envy can actually ride this one out. I mean, honestly, even though they did lose that first game, they had still played TSM pretty close. I do feel this is kind of heartening for the squad. Even if they do lose this match, they certainly look pretty solid overall. Apollo now wearing double buffs. That's got to feel good.
Double buff Kog'Maw with the Ruin King and the Hurricane combination definitely does feel good. There are 2 black cleavers going to be shredding some armor pretty quickly as well for Renekton and Lucian. So Envy actually feel decently if they can get into a fight where they started out with a cocoon or a pick or something. Definitely have the possibility to go for an early Baron if they're able to win one of these team fights.
See if they can do it. This is going to be a fun one here. Ardent Sensor done on the one side, Mikhail's on the other. Hakuho can get rid of a Syndra stun or a Varus ult. Yeah, those are primary ones. You can get rid of Body Slam as well. It's a stun for the most part. Small knockback, but it's stun still at the end of it, which is worth Mikhailsing. See what comes into this one.
Interesting. LirA again hovering to the bottom side. So Seraph's going to go in and trade here because he has his jungler. And he's trying to set up for a possible combination once again.
Yep. Hauntzer, of course, doing plenty of great damage here. He's got a Visage to deal with some Elise damage, but they're going to try for it right here. Seraph's got a whole bunch of Fury. Easy stun to land. Round 2 is going to work pretty beautifully. For the 3rd time, that 2-on-2 attacks Hauntzer.
If you watch the pathing as well, LirA was just going to keep, pathing down a little bit until Hauntzer knocks Seraph into the turret for the extra damage. At that point, Seraph's like, I have a guaranteed stun.
Yep.
And LirA walks over. They then layer the cocoon right after it and pull it off, this time without giving anything over. So again, Envy, Seraph and LirA combining for another kill onto Hauntzer.
That was nicely done. So their 3rd double gank, and 2 of those 3 have turned into kills right here, and it's LirA now on 4 kills for himself. This for Seraph have been good enough. And we'll see as the turret's going to fall as well. So, again, more props to Team Envy, finding ways to break this game open a little bit longer. You get that kill, you get a turret out of it. That is a very, very high-value kill.
All right, let's see what they can do with all the gold that they have recently acquired then. Step number 1, clearing out and asserting a little bit of control over said Baron area. Those wards are a bit difficult to clear out, but in order to do that, Envy have gone with the 3 sweepers here. Extra control ward still available for LirA as well, and they've got it pretty clean. It's a little straggler in the back of the Baron pit. They did see it though, so Envy know that this ward is here. It only has 1 hit left.
It's been hit twice, yeah. We'll see if they can make that play happen right now. Certainly, a Kog'Maw is a great Baron killer. A Lucian with a Ruin King the same.
Yeah, they definitely, like I said before, would want to get a pick or a team fight victory first.
Yeah.
But the vision is step number one in accomplishing that goal.
Yeah, you're right, it requires a little bit less setup, but because it dies so fast that there's more of these windows, like that one pick might be enough instead of requiring 2 kills or something, just because of the speed. We'll see if this comes into play right here. Not quite gonna stun Hakuho, spotted out as well by Rek'Sai running away. No slip we had just yet. Now it's time for wave clear duties in the mid lane as TSM will continue to play for the Baron Pit. Their wave clear is simply faster. Varus, Syndra, always gonna be better than Lucian Kog at that.
Seraph is actually coming over there for a flank. TSM correctly running to the top side of the map as soon as Hauntzer lost control of Seraph. That Renekton flanking behind them, it would be very difficult because you don't want your tank teleporting in, even though Hauntzer does have teleport and he can try and join later. The channel time is so long at this stage. It'd be pretty risky for a team fight to start that way.
And Envy clearly think a team fight is going to start, though. LirA's actually on a blue elixir right now. So he's powered up a bit. A nice stun to the front line. They look for the Braum kill. Hakuho might just go down. He is. Svenskeren gets the kill. The stun traded back, though. The burst going to come across through the exhaust. And yes, LirA unstoppable now. Gets another one for himself. The chase is on in. Nisqy forced to kite back and forth. No stun to be had just yet. And a flash to keep the TSM backline safe. Looking for more, though. Nisqy wants in on Bjergsen. He wants revenge for the lady phase. Can't quite get the shots in, though, and he can't kill him off. Meanwhile, the bot side, a nice defensive explosive cast keeps the team safe, and it is a 1-for-1 support for jungler.
Whoa, what a close little fight there for Bjergsen. Seraph had such a high value flash. On the Renekton flashing in, he got both flashes off the TSM carries. DoubleLift and Bjergsen both had to respect it because they didn't know who he was going for. That almost gave Nisqy the opening to grab a kill. Start off here with TSM finding their pick onto Braum, and the Rek'Sai ultimate is used by Svenskeren, and even though he flashes out, Braum passive gets vengeance for Hakuho there as it stuns him up. Here's the high value flash from Seraph though. He runs right past that stun, gets both of the carry stuns out, and then Nisqy tries to finish onto Bjergsen as you said, but Bjergsen lands that slow, just barely buying him time to get away.
And Nisqy didn't choose to cleanse the slow. He thought he could walk through enough with the relentless pursuit, and it wasn't quite right. So unfortunately, he misjudged it. We've all made those mistakes before and could have gotten that kill picked up. Maybe that actually could have been fair. And if Bjergsen and Sven are dead, maybe you try it. Either way, it's a 1-for-1. It's a reset here. So back on the map are both teams. Still this 4,000 gold lead. Solid for Team Envy right here. They did pick up, I think, the next objective. So yeah, they grabbed that Cloud Drake during the replay. So I believe it's double Cloud now for Envy, unless I'm misjudging the fact they had not gotten any Drakes before. No, they're on 2 Drakes. So yeah, they should have second Cloud now. Right now, though, it's TSM with control of the Baron Pit yet again. Looking to knock down this one. The Scuttle is gone, and they're going to get rid of the wards best they can.
Okay, flashes down for everybody except for Hauntzer and Apollo. And funny enough, it probably would be Apollo that Hauntzer's trying to flash on. So we'll see if he's actually able to reactively flash that one, or if they get the initiation. Here they go inside the Baron Pit. TSM trying to bait this one out.
And it's so fast. It's absolutely incredibly quickly. Infinity Edge Ruin King, and the damage output is there for DoubleLift. A nice Baron take out of TSM brings the game right back into fold.
Okay, well, that's a pretty big swing.
Yeah, that's huge.
TSM are going to come for some turret gold now, see what Envy can do about it. Definitely a possibility since their side of the map is pretty much under their vision control. And TSM, even though they have a Baron buff, they don't have a lot of freedom through the Envy jungle. We'll see if anyone gets caught out, if they go solo mission trying to flank around through the jungle. It's a possibility for Envy trying to snag somebody and get a comeback. Currently, though, they have Nisqy on the top side pushing on the Lucian, trying to get a little bit of top wave control back for themselves, while TSM head up mid.
See if they can find for themselves. TSM looking on this one. We got 4 of them around. Hauntzer, of course, good TP from the base. Around going up turret damage. Look how much they're getting through in this one. Envy have to give this one away. Mid lane 2-2 falls. TSM found, bringing it down to 3,000 gold difference. The Baron buff picking up the rest of those stats pretty easily. They're looking to slow roll bot lane tier 2. Sven gets rid of his blast cone. They troll double commit, but he's going to be okay.
I like Sven. He was ready for someone to be in there, so he walks up, places the ward, and immediately, before he even sees what's in it, triggers blast cone. Seraph, though, W for Renekton, you can kill wards. No problem.
No problem at all. TSM, can they make it a 2-0 here, getting all the gold back during this push? They're bringing Hauntzer down. They don't want a TP. They want him part of the fight right now. That does mean, though, the top lane has been pretty heavily pushed by Envy, and it's crashing into the turret.
Yeah, Envy really are going to have to watch out for this Gragas ultimate. If it splits the team and knocks even one member close to TSM, they can focus fire very quickly.
He's going to land. The big root's going to come across. Seraph, now Hakuho, and now Nisqy all grabbed up here for a bit of damage and a bit of time bought. Falling to 2/3 HP right now, but nothing engages yet. Bjergsen slowed down. Here comes the culling. A lot of damage. He has no flash. And Nisqy gets the kill. Beautiful on Hakuho to land the slow to call. There's no flash. And now they're re-engaged by B4. Spend on the front lines and ulti on a Seraph. They're going to knock him right into the team. But he's going to find a stun that's right into the junglers. Can they get the damage of knocked down DoubleLift? There are no carries left. This should be a clean sweep for Envy. They're going to blast all of them. 5 for 0. 13-5 in kills.
Oh my goodness, that is a clean ace for Team Envy. And now they gotta just try and push out these minion waves. They definitely really weren't expecting that one, but it doesn't even matter. There's no objectives for them to take. That is a huge blunder by TSM. What a good setup, right? You know, Hakuho gets a slow onto Bjergsen, who's straggling there. He's just trying to walk away from it, and Nisqy just takes down his entire life. They watch him die at the culling.
I can almost guarantee you if we mic check that fight, no flash, no flash, no flash, and they just go for it, right? Like, that was absolutely great. You talked about Seraph having a high-value flash in the previous team fight. The reason there's a 5 for 0, Seraph flashed on Bjergsen 4 minutes ago. Yep. And then Hakuho landed a Q. Beautiful stuff out of the entire team. And great play.
We'll probably wait. We'll just wait for the replay to go over the little things here. But Nisqy also goes, when he sees this opening, he jumps in onto DoubleLift. So really good priority from Team Envy. Nisqy takes out Bjergsen to start it off with his ultimate, and then they know that there's only one source of DPS left. Hakuho lands the end of his ult there, and then Nisqy dashes in. He's able to take down DoubleLift during that little knock-up, and after that, it's easy to clean up the tank members. DPS first, and Envy, what a nice, fortuitous little team fight right there.
Absolutely, and great damage out of kind of all the members here. Kog'Maw, an unsung hero, just belting out damage on a double frontline team, of course, but certainly the big play was Nisqy and Hakuho setting it up in the first place. The insurance policy, though, still working to the end of it all, going towards the Maw of Malmortius next on the Kog'Maw, which actually is pretty offensive because CDR is a huge damage stat for Kog, getting the W back up. And also, of course, wants to survive Syndra, which is very important as well. Not dying is a damage stat for Marksman. And we'll see where that comes in next. TSM, yep, negative Baron power play. Happens when you get aced, unsurprising here. But Envy had not gotten a lot of major objectives off that prior fight. Nice flash for LirA to stay safe, but Hauntzer with a good setup all the same. They all get away from Braum.
Teleporting.
Can they get the fight coming in? Sven on the front line looking for this Braum here. And there's the Winter's fight. There's the damage up, but he's going to kite back a little bit, but now the re-engages in. Can they knock down the Rek'Sai? And yes, she falls. Apollo on a rampage. And the stun in for Seraph. Can they get Hauntzer? I believe he body slammed into the face, so he has no ways out. And 7 straight kills now in for Envy. LirA is godlike.
They got to keep pushing it here. Team Envy trying to get some turrets now after another couple of kills.
And Elder's up in 10 seconds, so they can go for any one of these. Do they want to go for inhibitors? Or do they go for a pretty secure neutral objective with no enemy jungler alive? Looking for this right now. Mid lane 3-2 going to fall at the start of it. And now 20 seconds on respawn timers. The choice is there is really what they want to go for. Seraph going to go top side. He does not have TP, though. He cannot join another fight easily.
Yeah, they don't even need him to teleport down to the Drake, though, because they have vision through the blue quadrant. There's only 3 members here on TSM left with no front line. They have no one to stand behind it. Doesn't matter that their DPS is up. Team Envy going to grab that Elder Drake, and they're going to grab the top turret at the same time.
Absolutely beautiful. An 11,000 gold lead now for Team Envy. The blue buff to grab as well. And this one almost now out of reach for TSM. The scaling not the same as the prior composition, especially with Kog'Maw online here. And LirA 707. I mean, geez, just soaring this game like his number would indicate here. Just doing beautifully.
Take another look here at how it started out, because LirA was actually the one they tried to jump on. He's spamming flash there. So as soon as he got out of that lockout, able to get onto the other side. And then it's a lot of damage dealt into TSM. This is a 4v5, by the way. Seraph hadn't even arrived yet. He channeled his teleport. He comes around for the flank. By the time he arrives, Sven is already dead. And he cuts off Hauntzer to take out the other half of the front line, which is why they're able to so easily pick up that Elder Drake.
Absolutely beautiful stuff. And you can see that gold just going up and up and up to the right. Well played by Envy to actually manage to have a better mid game than TSM. And we'll see if they can keep this one going forward.
That team fight on the bottom side,
huge.
Huge for them. One Braum Q onto Bjergsen starts a whole chain of events. And Envy looking like they're going to answer back here in game number 2. TSM, though, their goal obviously is to stall it out, hold out at their inhibitor turret.
Play for late game. Play for late game. That's the call. They're going to hope. But Elder Dragon's going to stay on them for when Baron respawns. Now, certainly, Sven can try to steal. It's a Rek'Sai and it's red team, so the tools are there. Varus also makes it a bit hard. The poke is in. So the question is, how well can EnVyUs call this end game? It's theirs to win. They should close it out. They got to make sure they make the right choices, though, and TSM certainly no slouches at comebacks. We'll see if it can make it happen.
All right, well, the call is going to be, we need this Baron to actually end the game, break inside of inhibitors. So they're going to rush it down. That should be theirs for the taking. TSM, as we said, they're playing defensive. They want to just farm it out. You know, if you overextend at this point, you lose that fight at Baron, you lose the game.
Yeah. I do want to give props, though. That Baron take looked easy, but the minute and a half before that was all the setup. You saw how much darkness was in that top jungle. There's 2 sight stones on TSM. They can put wards down. Envy said no, they're all going to be gone. And of course, the threat of fighting was too much to reward, so that was a nice setup. If you want to know how to easily take Barons when you're winning by a lot, might be a VOD you want to rewatch for the last 2 minutes just to see how Envy did it. Either way, looking pretty solid on this one. The Baron is on, and again, the question is, can they just close it out cleanly at this point? Answer is likely to be yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think Nisqy actually, they're chasing Seraph, so Nisqy can take an inhibitor turret for this.
Yeah, that's a decent trade. Flash for an inhib turret. They're going to keep going on the top side of the map. Here comes the rest of TSM that they want. Nisqy not quite going to land on Bjergsen, though. The rest of the team come and join soon. Hauntzer and Seraph still scoring off on the bot side. 3 spheres out available for this Bjergsen Syndra. Not quite going to land the stun. That should be enough to knock down the inhibitor itself, as Sven's going to be pushed away. Good damage on LirA, but Seraph actually is going to die out. The 2-man squad roams down and picks him off, so TSM maybe buying a bit of time because a 5v4 is maybe a threat.
DoubleLift had to use his ultimate for that, so he's not going to be able to get anyone else locked down with it, but they did buy themselves a bit of a reprieve here, trying to clear out some minions. 1 inhibitor is the cost. Yeah, and it's out there with the ultimate. Nice little pick there from DoubleLift, and Biofrost lending a hand.
Yeah, very well played by them to try to get the way back in. As you mentioned, the name of the game is stalling out and trying to catch up in items. You know, the DoubleLift's only half an item away from fully completing his build. I mean, he's got the same slots, really, as Apollo right now. His champion's not quite as good in the late game team fights, but certainly has abilities to do so. Death Cap and Void Staff both in for Bjergsen, so these tools are here to a certain extent.
All right,
Nisqy
13,000
and
difference. Team Envy trying to keep up this pressure. Mid lane inhibitor turret is extremely low. They have half of the Baron buff left, so they can definitely push this ahead. Use this minion wave to try and topple that turret.
Absolutely.
Seraph is in base, but he has teleport in case anything crazy goes down.
Sven's safe for now. LirA's transitioned to his tank build. He's actually full on items now, so Envy's jungler cannot scale any farther in this game. Level 18, all the items are in. Zhonya's there to make sure it's a bit safer. Bjergsen wants in, looking for a stun. Here comes the TP flank as well. Hauntzer's into the mix. Repel to buy a few more seconds. He has Zhonya as well if he needs it. He's going to pop that to buy a few more time. Here comes the rest of Envy. Ulti comes across, going to knock up Bjergsen. Here comes the team fight on the front line. Looking for Svenskeren. A lot of damage out of him. Gets a quick redemption heal, but is it going to be enough? Buys a second longer with the ulti. Kiting back at his stay alive with the shields. And Nisqy nearly dropped down, has to kite away. Low on HP. Hakuho rooted soon as well. Going to kite back though. 5 out of 5, but Envy low on health. LirA's got no more escape tools. But Apollo going back in for round number 2. He wants to knock down Hauntzer. Can't quite do it, but both teams now on very low health bars. Neither team with an Ocean Drake to regen back up.
Yep, but TSM have their fountain to go heal back up.
They
so
do.
They're going to rush back to that one. Envy keeping up the pressure here with the Baron buff, though. The only real health, the damage that's going to stick is on LirA, who's on the Elise, and he can just go into the jungle to heal it up. There you go.
A little bit. Nisqy got as many minions as he could, but now he's back on the mix here. Down only to 1,300 HP. That is a bit dangerous. Bjergsen's ulti up in about 12 seconds as well, so something to watch for. That's definitely going to come in way before Malva Mortius does.
All right, round 2. The Syndra ultimate is coming back off cooldown, as is the Varus. So Team Envy are a little bit cautious right now, but they know that there still is a timer ticking away on this game. Trying to utilize their advantage while they still have it. Baron buff, 1 more minion wave.
Last one to push in. LirA's got to be careful. Those going to get knocked into Apollo. They blow him up. Huge play out of the front line. Now it's a 5v4. The chase going to continue for TSM. Looking for the flash out of Hakuho. Can they find the next one in? Svenskeren spells blood. He wants Seraph. Pops the randos. Doesn't land a slow out of it, though. And no chase to be continued in, but that kill on Apollo was absolutely massive.
Not only was that kill massive, but his flash used as well. That won't be available, and that might actually, the single kill, the single play right there, might be the turning point here. TSM heading right down the base. Hauntzer doesn't have teleport, but Apollo's off the board for 30 seconds more.
And here comes a cannon wave. It's going to be a little bit harder to clear than most other mini waves would be. Let's see if they can get it to happen here. TSM looking for the inhibitor turret. They know it's 5v4, and they know Envy won't really fight them for it. So despite being down 13,000 gold a minute ago, they're using this 5v4 to knock down an inhibitor. Again, they should not be too afraid of the re-engage as long as the team is around. Inhibitor will fall in one more auto. They're going to find Seraph a little bit. Back and forth, back and forth. Now the slow Biofrost forces the flash. It's got to be a little bit testy, though. It's a 4v5, and Envy re-engages. Maybe ill-advised. They don't go for much more. They get TSM to run away. They get Biofrost flash.
Whew. Mission successful. Inhibitor down 1-1. Envy don't want to let him get away with it, though. They're going to chase him right back up the entire map, straight down mid lane here. One Nexus turret's pretty low, but the target is Inhibitor number 2. If you can keep, kind of exchanging those ones, the extra line of super minions are able to buff each other up. Helps a lot with the pressure. And the second spawn of Baron. 1 minute and 30 seconds left on that one.
All right, Envy round 2. All the major magic introductions are back available for them. You've got the Michaelas, you've got Face the Mountain, you've got Locket for Hakuho, and Apollo's Hexdrinker, and USS back up. And again, this is still an Envy gigantic gold lead. Now, if LirA's holding on to too much, it's risky, because he, again, cannot scale any farther in this game. But they are still generally ahead right now.
So I went back to check on that play, just because that one might be, what breaks this late game. It was Hauntzer, not even set up by a Bjergsen stun. He just straight up threw his pass out of that brush to get Apollo into the team and find that pick and buy some time for TSM.
Well done, Hauntzer.
Yeah, definitely well done, because, the travel time would change on the ultimate. It's definitely one of the more difficult ones to pull off if you're not set up by something else.
So the top inhibitor respawn. That is the final super minion of that wave. And you're going to look for the mid lane as a result of the wave clear out of DoubleLift, but he returns to the team quickly enough, and the minions are all gone. Looking for Seraph down below half HP. Explosive Cast brings him in a little bit. Can he stay alive? He's going to try to as Braum holds the front line. And it's a battle of who has more damage as Hakuho forced to run away. Big damage out of Bjergsen picks up one already. Double! The re gets the backside. Yes, they picked off the DoubleLift kill. And now it's Seraph going back and forth, looking for Biofrost flash. Double kill for Nisqy. 2 huge pickups there to 4v3 in the base.
And we can try and take another inhibitor, if not pressure ahead, even to try. Oh, Bjergsen wants the 1v4 here?
Yeah, no ulti though. You can't get Apollo very easily. So 4v3, the payoff is in, and there's only one carry left. And ultless Bjergsen is not likely to work here against these 4. Envy should get double inhib.
Yeah, there's big rewards here for Envy if they could keep up the pressure, but
they're going for Baron, I think.
They're chased off over to the Baron. Oh my goodness, our TSM actually,
flash.
They could actually pick him off too. There's no vision here for TSM. Envy could just set up a trap.
Which one's it going to be? What are they going to find for themselves? Sven looks for the brush. They're all standing still, so Rek'Sai can't see them just yet. And there's the pop. They know they're not on Baron, but here comes the re-engage. Can they make it happen? Nisqy wants to jump the wall. He's looking for Hauntzer. Now here comes Bjergsen. A big stun coming across. It'll knock up there onto the Renekton. And there's no kill coming through. The respawn's up in about 8 seconds. The health bar is now very low for Envy. They got a honey fruit. They've got a Scuttle to attack. And I don't think they can go for Baron just yet. So Envy
There's another honey fruit. They could go up and grab that one.
And they're not going to go for it, though. So they squander the 4v3. They try to get the pick, but TSM plays it well enough to buy a few more minutes.
It definitely was one of those really tense situations. I actually would recommend, if you go back and watch a replay or something, you turn on the Fog of War and try and play it through from their perspective, because that is such a scary thing. At 46 minutes into the game to try and go face check a Baron 3v4 this late, where someone being caught, or if they had actually set up that trap in a different brush and surprised them, got that kill, it could have been the entire game. Those are the types of high intensity situations that people who have played a lot of League of Legends have become used to and kind of enjoy, but also kind of dread.
Kind of stressful, but Envy, they tried, and I can't fault them for the effort. And I'm going to try again here onto this one. Is DoubleLift is fighting an Elder Dragon right now, so it's on Sven. Does he risk his life for a Baron steal? He might try. He's going to throw the Q. He's not going to go for the smite, and I think that's actually wise. I think dying is not worth Baron this stage of the game, but DoubleLift does trade for a 2-stack Elder Dragon. Baron probably still more powerful. Looking for Bjergsen now. He's going to get stunned, though. Nice to disengage away from Nisqy.
Ooh, necessary stun there. That also procs the Storm Raider Surge, able to walk out after that one. So the trade with this extra Elder Dragon burn here for TSM might actually be enough for them to scare off Envy. The idea is, all right, you have Baron buff and you can end the game if you can fight us first. And now they've got the extra team fight power with the Elder Dragon burn.
Yeah. Well, the durations are 1 minute separated, so there will be a 1 minute timer where Envy will have Baron and TSM won't have Elder Dragon. As that, it's a pretty small window to use, and TSM might be able to navigate around it. And as we go farther and farther in this game, that gold at the top starts to matter not at all.
I mean, it's already here.
There's only a very small couple of components. Svenskeren's not quite full build, and that's pretty much it. That's the only difference, is that Svenskeren and LirA have slightly different items. At this point, it's basically...
We have arrived in the late game, my friend.
We do.
All right, TSM making actually the first move here onto the top side. And Envy with Baron buff, they would win.
Ooh.
They would definitely win a base race, so TSM would have to answer here.
There's the recalls. Now, of course, top inhib is open. There's no backdoor bonus for inhibitors, but bot lane and the Nexus itself would not die before TSM could recall. TSM crash a wave into the top side, but they don't go for turret kills off that. A blue steal comes through for Nisqy. And it looks like Envy are playing brush baits right now. Maybe someone tries to flank Seraph, but now the rest of the team joins in. And again, there's just subtract 1 minute of that Baron buff timer, and that's the Elder Dragon right now for TSM.
Yeah, we'll see as well, because the big difference in these team fights has been the extra crowd control from TSM. Bjergsen's multiple stuns, line stuns that hit multiple people, have really been turning these team fights. You know, as we get later and later into the game, Hakuho, he's trying to get in there with the Braum, you know, gets his ult down and tries to get up the Unbreakable, but other than that, it's been difficult for Team Envy to navigate the late game team fights. And they're really looking to you know, catch someone out of position again. That's how they got their big victory in the bottom half of the map earlier, where they caught Bjergsen with the slow. They're doing it again here.
Not
Have a
quick
push.
in the slow. Not easy to chase a Rek'Sai anyway, so Sven stays safe. DoubleLift back in the mix. Let's see what comes in. Biofrost on half an item left. Same for Hakuho and same for Sven. Looking like TSM wants to fight this one again. They've got 30 seconds left on Elder Dragon, so it's one of the better times to find a fight. Hakuho blocks out the damage and doesn't mean much as Seraph keeps splitting.
Yep, Envy trying to play to the buff that they have. Baron helping out with that split push. He's got a huge wave. That's going to go hit on top side. As we said, though, Team Envy have to be so wary of the extra CC that TSM are bringing to these team fights. Hauntzer, Sven, Bjergsen, DoubleLift, all, you know, with these layered engages.
Yep. And at a certain point, you start getting into luxury items where you can really just fine-tune your build and say, do I want more safety? Do I want more damage? Do you sell boots for damage or
All
not?
right, this is it.
All right, Baron buff on, no Elder Dragon. This is the window where Envy is more powerful. A stun on the Hauntzer, kites back and forth, looks for a little bit of play on the LirA. Again, this is a fairly squishy Elise. Only about 2,400 HP on that champion means she can definitely be killed. And that's one wave secured, but Seraph, of course, reasonably safe top side, has to not be picked off by Hauntzer. He knows he can die against DoubleLift. The inhibitors are all back up right now, so it's 2 open inhibs that Envy could push, but only 20 seconds left on Baron.
Going for a little bit of a trail here, but Seraph has that ward inside the TSM base. Not going to be caught by surprise.
It's, yeah, mid to top. You can see Envy playing a closer together competition right now, hoping to get back and forth between these plays. Seraph still splitting top side. Baron ending in 6 seconds, though, and nothing really gained off his Baron buff. Nisqy getting some free time. He's got to watch out for Hauntzer and DoubleLift. Is there a body slam flash? No, he doesn't go for the play. Potentially could have tried, but didn't go for it.
All summoners are available, so the outplay potential is high.
Who can make the big plays? Death time is long enough, even though TSM's in their base. If they do it right, they can end the game off a good team fight. Hauntzer wants in, slowed by Seraph, knocked for the Renekton. Not really worth the ultimate, though. That's a big playmaking tool down. LirA gonna get away from the stuns, looking for damage onto Sven.
Definitely a good opening here for Team Envy without that Gragas engage now. And the top inhibitor is so low, Nisqy's gonna finish it off now.
One more hit, he's gotta be afraid of Hauntzer though, and Sven. They can wait for a little bit longer though, because mid's also taking some damage. LirA back and forth, Apollo, small chunks out of him. There we go, top inhib is gone. Mid inhib gonna follow suit quickly, but again, Apollo must be safe. Change of corruption misses, that's 2 ults down for TSM. Here's the engage on the front side, Seraph versus Sven. And there's gonna be a kill in the front lane, he'll shoot enough. Renekton to buy a few more seconds, and the Rek'Sai gonna fall off the map. It's a 1-for-0 favor of Envy. Double inhibs will be down soon enough as Apollo heals off the minions. 5v4.
Oh, Envy with the big victory here. 2 inhibitors down. All right, Seraph's going back, but he has teleport, so they can actually keep up the pressure. They want to take advantage of Svenskeren's long death timer to end the game.
Here we go. Elixir's up for everyone who can. He canceled TP. He wants a shorter cooldown on that.
There is Baron in 130, so maybe they don't want to risk ending the game during this death timer. I really feel like that's weird. A good window, but there is another Baron coming up, and then with the 2 inhibitors, they'll have that extra pressure. But I have to say, you know, that team fight was a big victory for Envy because Hauntzer missed his big combo, DoubleLift used his ultimate and didn't get anyone with that, and those are those crowd control abilities that we're talking about, 2 ultimates that found nothing in the team fights. Don't know if they'll get that again, but we shall see. Looks like they are taking the little bit more cautious route.
If they really believe that Kog'Maw outscales to infinity and that he will always win any late game team fight, I mean, that's one way of looking at it. I'm not sure if that's really true, but it might be an explanation.
They do have 2 Guardian Angels, though.
Yeah, Renekton just picked up 1. He sold boots for it. Similarly, LirA sold boots for GA.
That is almost even bigger for the late game team fights. You get to jump back up after with a Guardian Angel. It's probably what Envy are waiting for there, and they're putting a little bit more effort into this.
Yeah. Although there's no MR in Bjergsen's build, you could almost argue that Sork Shoes is almost more valuable for LirA, but certainly the Revive obviously is useful. And again, it comes down to luxury items. He chooses the Revive over technically burst damage. Envy actually now going to siege bot lane, which again,
All right.
they went. Ooh, a huge burst of damage out in LirA and Nisqy. They've got to kite back off this one, so Sven wants in, ulti out of Hakuho. And here comes a team fight as a trade of Rek'Sai versus this Seraph Renekton. And on the wings, actually, LirA pushed away by DoubleLift. Out goes the kite, and a big explosive cast brings him in. Nisqy still has some time to free fire. Apollo the same, though. Who's going to go frontliners first here? The GA going to be popped right now for the Renekton. The same for LirA's Elise. And the fight continues with the redemption heal. It's Envy forced to kite back right now. They don't quite have the damage. They got to wait for Biofrost Barrage the second time around. As Apollo can go right back in, and he finds the kill. Nisqy's dominating. A slow on the back line. He wants Bjergsen, and Nisqy gets it! That was huge out of him, and now that's one of the carries gone. Double force drop, and he could be stunned up. The chase is in for Nisqy. A triple kill out of the Lucian in the mid lane. They're going to go for number 4, a quadra kill for Nisqy. And it's only Biofrost left alive. It's going to be Envy pulling off the victory. Nisqy with 4.
Are you kidding me with that flash forward over Bjergsen's W to get the kill? Huge team fight from Envy. That was even with the flank from Hauntzer.
Incredible stuff out of Envy, the Guardian Angel frontliners, and big plays out of this.
Oh my
11
God.
kills on this Lucian. What an incredible one. 55 minutes. Envy tying it up now 1-1, and we have another game to go
That was
through.
actually such a sick team fight.
It absolutely was. And what a time to look competitive against TSM as well. Envy, the odd team out. I remember you were on this or that, where it's like, who's more likely? A new
win.
I know. But I'm just talking about like the fact that it's like, who's, like, are we going to have the same champions before or new champions? You're like, get Envy out of there. Envy is not part of that crew of who's going to win now. And they were competitive against TSM in week 8. And what a time to be
and
close to that level.
They needed both Guardian Angels to do this.
That's fair.
And Nisqy there on the re-engage was with the second one coming up. It was just, that was so well timed with his flash forward. He was completely predicting Bjergsen's answer there. He flashes forward, gets the kill. Just absolutely huge for them to end that out, because this is a super late game team fight with the early game oriented team.
Yeah. Elise, Renekton, Lucian mid. Like, those aren't insane late game champions, but they made it happen.
LirA never died the entire game.
Yep.
Except for the time when he had a Guardian Angel. So
yeah, which doesn't count.
0 death score.
0 deaths. Beautiful stuff out of LirA. Incredible game for Team Envy. They won that one. It was a nail biter and it was beautiful. Let's hand it off to Dash and Mark.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. And yes, it was all of those things, Phreak. It was, I already forgot what you said, but it was.
Who remembers Phreak's sayings
Exactly.
anyways?
Hey, but he thinks he's right, and he is right in this case. All right, team comps here, because they just talked about the late game team fight, 6 items, but Envy has the early looking comp, at least here, specifically on the top side of the map. The Lucian, the Elise, the Renekton, doing a lot of work throughout the
Right, and they picked all those relatively early on. Take the Elise first, they had the Renekton showing, so it's obviously going to be a very strong dive on the top side. They also take that Lucian. Bjergsen takes a Syndra. It's a fine matchup, but for the most part, Lucian will have a little bit of an advantage there in the early game. So they're doing that while covering for a potentially weak bot side with the Kog'Maw Braum mostly looking to farm and scale out. The problem is you look at how TSM drafted and you have nothing but question marks, because I have no idea what they saw that early on to make them say, we want to take Varus right away blind, when they were having relative success prioritizing Tristana. Kalista was banned in the second half, so they could have taken that one as well. And for some reason, they decide Gragas Varus is their first rotation.
I mean, why not just repeat game 1's team comp?
I honestly, I can't tell you what they were seeing, because I understand the only thing I see is why they flexed the Gragas up to the top side and took Rek'Sai in the second rotation was because they saw the Renekton Elise. Very scary dive. You want to find some way to potentially just live through that. Shen, not quite as good for outplaying that stuff early on as much as a Gragas is, so I understand that part. But everything else is a big question mark to me.
And to Kobe's point, we'll get to the final team fight in just a bit, but you have, yes, early game focused champions here, but you also have early game focused champions here. None of these champions particularly excel in that late game 5v5 engagement. So even though they were able to extend it to 55 minutes, it's still very much just whoever, outplays the final fight is going to win this game.
Right. The one, late game scaling champion that's clearly here is just the Kog'Maw, and that's on Envy's side. And I mean, you just have to question mark TSM, because once again, 0 power picks for the most part in this draft on 7-14. And I think this is one of the times it's finally come back and kind of bit them in the butt, because Varus, to me, looked pretty useless through most of this game.
All right, another thing that bit them, though, was kind of a pretty big misplay by Hauntzer here in the bot lane. 33 minutes into the game, 5 for 0 in favor of Envy. But watch Hauntzer and his barrel here kind of serving his team up to Envy.
More serving Envy up to his team these days. You know, here's the buffet. Go help yourself. We got 1 kill. Nice kite out by DoubleLift early on, but then kind of hard to keep kiting when the enemy team ends up on top of your face. Braum gets the Q off onto him. He goes down early. Chase down for the rest of Envy was really easy. And this was actually a huge mistake, because at that point, TSM had just gotten a Baron that they had forced down on their own. They were starting to grab turrets back, and even though they were behind for most of the game, this is like the moment where TSM says, we're the better team, we outplayed you on the map, and now we're going to take our advantages.
Right.
And Bjergsen gets called down off a mistake because he has no flash, and then instead of just being able to kite that fight out and keep the loss to 1, they get aced, and they lose a ton off of it.
Very much so, right? Entirely concede the map control at that point to Envy. We saw inhibitors go down. TSM does a good job of defending those super minion waves, as well as even trading an Elder Dragon for a Baron at one point. But when you're constantly being pushed in, it's where you arrive to a late game team fight, and if you lose it as the defending team, the opposing team will be able to finish the game off of it. That's what happens here. The fight looks good for TSM at first, and then Nisqy comes up with a huge play here to turn it all around.
Yep, and it's one of those things where you're doing a great job focusing down the front line, but Apollo has been untouched for most of this fight. He's done a lot of damage. A nice flank by Hauntzer comes in, serves up Apollo a little bit, but once again, they continue to kite out kind of front line.
I mean, look, both PAs are popped. Things are looking good. Envy's on the retreat, but now eyes on Nisqy.
Yep, Nisqy's going to find the right time to go in. You see he has to dodge out, and that Syndra stun doesn't actually connect onto him. No balls were in front of him, so he doesn't get hit by that. He's able to absorb the ultimate out of Syndra and then keep fighting forward because he has enough MR built up, as long as all those knight vows and stuff like that. So really nice play there. A very risky one, but I assume he was tracking the balls and knew there was no stun set up in front of him, so you know he'd have to make another one on the side of Bjergsen to outplay that.
Yeah, dodges out the stun on the first one, flashes the Q that could have, you know, popped him there near the end. And then, as you mentioned, the Night Vows coming in big next to both of the AD carries, who can just put out enough consistent damage in those late game team fights to eventually eat through the opposing team.
And it's one of those things where you say the enemy team had, you had a Tristana here, which is something that they've been playing and taking early on multiple times. I'm not sure what they saw out of just an Elise first pick that says you can't pick Tristana, and I guess, for some reason they don't do that, and now they're going to have to go back on the blue side and reevaluate what they're doing in the draft.
Player of the game will go to Nisqy again, mostly for that final team fight, right? When it comes down to it, you're looking for the guy who's going to execute. He does exactly that, picks up a quadra kill to close out the game.
As well as that culling on Bjergsen in that bot lane situation was actually a huge play for them. It set up that whole fight where, TSM's trying to kite out, and eventually they make that misplay.
And we'll give a nod to LirA, though. His stat line in this game was also fantastic and definitely helped propel them to those early advantages. All right, moving on to Game 3. Is it all fixed in draft for TSM?
I mean, it's hard to say that just because so far as them on 7-14, we haven't been like, oh yeah, they have a great read on, the Maokai and then the Cho'Gath and all these other strong champions. For the most part, they just feel like they pick what they want and they're confident that they'll outplay you. And they were really close to doing it this game, to be fair. It just didn't quite work out. And it's something that I personally don't like seeing that much. I'm fine if you have a higher priority on Tristana than Kalista. That's one thing. But when you start taking the Varuses out of nowhere, you start, taking Karmas and Lulus instead of what these strong support playmaking champions are right now, it starts leaving about a bit of doubt.
All right, well, there's plenty on the line as we go into Game 3. Can Team Envy secure their playoff spot with a win here, or will TSM end their week in first? The questions to those answers are...
The questions to those answers.
Let's just start that one over. The answers to
take him out of here, guys. Get him out.
The answer to those questions and more when we return. Get away from me. Go.